Okay. All right, we'd like to welcome you and call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. It is December 6th, 2022, 6:30 PM, and we are in the City Council chambers of West Valley City Hall. We have all members of the council present. In person, we have Councilman Fitzsimonu, Councilman Hoon, Councilman Christensen, and Councilman Norfelt. Online, we have Councilman Harmon and Councilman Whetstone. Also on Zoom, we have Mr. Pyle, our city manager, and joining us at the dais is Ms. Kamick, our city recorder. We will now turn the time over to Councilman Norfelt for our opening ceremony.
Thank you, Mayor. Will everyone please rise with me and we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. We will now go to our minutes of November 22nd, 2022. I'll turn it to the council for discussion or a motion.
I move to approve those minutes.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamick? Oh, that's right. I'm so used. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and those pass. Thank you. All right, we will now have our public comment period. Our comment period is limited to 30 minutes. Any person wishing to speak shall contain their comments to 5 minutes, and we do have a clock for you. Upon recognition by the mayor, you will approach the microphone. If you did not have a chance to sign up with your name and address, if you'd please give it to us then, otherwise just your name at the pulpit. All comments should be addressed to the mayor. This is not a time for discussion with the council and staff. We will address your comments after. During the comment period, each person will only be allowed to speak once, and the total time will be a limit of 30 minutes. So on our sign-up sheet, we have speaker one.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jim Visock. I'm going to talk about code enforcement again. Several weeks ago, and months ago, with the website reporting, I reported several different incidences in and around my area, and some that were brought to me. And the response I got back is that it was in the comments section that either case is pending or case closed with no further explanation. Until recently, when parking would do a response through the website, they would tell you it's been received, officer has been dispatched out, and then what the officer has basically handled it. With code enforcement, they've never done anything like that. And they're pushing us to do all our reporting through the app. They should be giving a little bit more information back instead of just case closed. For example, the semi, I didn't send you guys it this week, but it's still in the same place. It should be an administrative citations going on. If they're at a level 3, that $400, there's no way that guy would be leaving a semi there if he's getting $400 weekly fines. But it just appears that it's not being, things are not being done. Over by Ascent Academy off of 5600, 3865, I believe is the corner. Property still hasn't been taken care of. Looks like somebody's living in the backyard. Now they have a car that's blocking the sidewalk. This is a highly traveled area with the kids going to Ascent Academy. And I have talked to that code enforcement, employee. He's reached out to me. There was a police action there, so he was waiting to find out what happened with the police. But it just seems when Mr. Morris gave his presentation, he had a chart on how long things take. It takes double, triple that time. And you drive by the code enforcement building and count the vehicles out there. It's like it seems like they're all there. It's very rare. Mr. Markham talks about that regularly also when he's here. There's got to be a more efficient way to track what they're doing and limiting them to being in the office. I think they should be spending a lot more time out in their designated areas, driving around. The website reporting, I talked to one of the administrators about a couple of the issues. In the code enforcement, we need an other. They only give you 2 or 3 options. There needs to be an other where everything is put into it. It would make it a lot easier. And like I said, once again, put as much information in there for the resident or the reporting party, because I don't have a problem with reporting it every single week but they just case closed, makes it look like the code enforcement employee is not doing their job when the incident, it's still there. You can tell the semis haven't moved. The snow is there. There's a pile of snow. It's not going in and out. So more accountability with our code enforcement employees. And so that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you. Was there anyone else that wished to speak that didn't have a chance to sign up? Okay, I'll turn it over to City Manager. Did you have anything to say tonight?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks. One item I wanted to report on. As you all know, we had a very scary moment last weekend when we had a purported active shooter call in at Granger Elementary School. This is the kind of call that makes your heart stop when you get it out there on the street. And as we were fortunate enough, it turned out to be a false alarm. But the occasion gave us the opportunity to exercise in real time the response efforts that we've practiced so much through the police department for that sort of a situation. And then also I wanted to mention after that how grateful and proud I was of the police department. We exercised our protocols according to training and do what we refer to as after action reviews after the situations. We did 2 of those, one right after the incident and then another one in more depth today. And the purpose of those is to make sure that we are reviewing what happened. Basically, you follow a format of what did we do right? What can we do to improve? What are the lessons we take away to the next incident like that? And the point of that whole exercise doesn't really matter, I guess I should say, on whether the incident went well or went badly. It's that there's always room to improve, always room to get better. And we're always looking for those ways to do that in those instances. So I just wanted to express appreciation for the police department in that situation, along with the fire department. Another one of the things we got to exercise in that situation was a unified command structure, which we don't get to do all that often. So all was well that ended well and turned out just fine. It was good to have them and know that we have professionals out there able to conduct their jobs well. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I will now turn it to the council for any comments. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our first public hearing, and it will be application GP2 2022. Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, ma'am. From time to time, we modify and update the city's major street plan. And we are proposing an amendment this evening that would make 3 amendments or 3 changes to that street plan. One is to extend Lester Street at 5700 West as a 66-foot right-of-way north of 2400 South. The second change would be to add 7200 West as an 80-foot right-of-way between 2100 South and SR 201. And the third one would extend 5900 West as a 66-foot right-of-way between Beagley Road and Parkway Boulevard. Basically, the reason you make changes to the major street plan is as roads are widened or added or lengthened, or if the traffic situation changes around them, in an increasing traffic way, such as an interchange, proximate location or change or addition. We do these things from time to time. So it's not all that usual or common, but it's not that uncommon either. Planning Commission has recommended approval of this. It's been through both the community development and the public works functions, and we recommend making that amendment.
Okay, thank you. We will now open the public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this issue. And the time is yours. When you come to the mic, if you'd please give us your name and address.
I'm David Drake. I'm an attorney for a couple of landowners out there on Lester Street. D. Hanson Auto Wrecking
I'm Scott Charlier. I'm co-counsel.
and
Gerloff Holdings.
and what?
Gerloff Holdings.
Gerloff Holdings.
Come up here.
We just need one at a time up at them. Everybody will have a chance to speak.
No, I wasn't doing that so we could bombard you with three voices. I was doing this so I could ask questions of him to know what to ask you.
Oh,
So.
well, let him come up and speak on his own if you would
Oh,
like.
Gerlov, Gorlov Holdings, Inc.
Okay.
So, my client, I represented her, D. Hanson Auto Wrecking, and a bunch of other salvage yards out there back in 1997, 98, 99. We had quite a set to. Anyway, so I'm still representing her. It's our understanding this, so I'm going to ask these questions. It's going to determine what I say to you about it. But it was our initial understanding and the understanding of my client that Lester Street, from where the Maverick is on 2400 South, right?
Mhm.
No, is it 2400 South? Yeah, no, 2400
2400
West, yeah,
south.
okay. They were gonna take, the city was intending to take 15 feet off either side of Lester Street at that area. And tonight I spoke with a gentleman from the planning department who said it's going to be 6 feet, or 6 inches off each side. Is that correct?
That is correct. 6 inches off each side. The road is already
Yes.
pretty much
it's
wide
60
enough.
It's 65 feet long and are wide, so
Right, yeah.
you're making it 66 feet.
Correct.
Um,
What restrictions, once that goes into place, if it goes into place, is the city going to require setbacks when that's improved, lawns, sidewalks? Is that going to take more land?
We will put that question and then I'll have one of the public works or planning commissioners come up or planning directors come up and answer your questions. He'll make a note of it.
Okay, all right. That's what I was wondering. And if that's the case, if they're going to take, I mean, once everything's said and done, and you're putting these setbacks in, the sidewalks, and that does take an additional, say, 15 feet off each side. One, that's going to take out my client's business, her office. It's going to be gone. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll have to be gone, right? Now, I understand there's been some talk, so I'll just ask you flat out. There's property behind, on the west side, behind my client's property that's owned by UDOT. Does West Valley have any plans on acquiring that land?
I will also let them answer that one.
Okay. And if so, when everything's said and done, and we've got an additional 15 feet that we're taking, I guess I would like to know, if you're going to acquire that property, can there be some sort of compensation by giving them 15 feet off the back end? If you're going to acquire that UDOT property, it's number one. My second question is, are you going to allow any variances. I mean, when you take that much property, that changes the whole ball of wax and getting permits. Even though my client at least is grandfathered in on some of these things, it still changes property sold. So I'm just wondering if there's going to be any plan or any offer for variances with regard to the improvement of those properties. And if there is, we'd like it in writing. Anything else?
Yeah, currently there aren't any setback restrictions
Correct.
there. So, yeah, so that question is are setback restrictions planned? The other question I had is, but I don't know how pertinent this would be, but to our situation, but understand that this widening of Leicester Street down where D. Hanson Auto Wrecking is contingent upon when you acquire the property of UDOT on the north end. And if so, what the time frame is on that.
Okay. Okay, is that all of your questions?
Well, I've got a couple more. Is there any plans on closing? Oh, is it 20 or 50, let's see, 2300 South? Is that any plans on closing that street?
Right now, if it's not on this adjustment, then I would not know that.
Okay,
So if they have any ideas, they'll let you know.
I believe the last time we were here in front of the planning commission, they answered that they didn't have any plans to, if they could confirm that
yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
Okay,
So we'd like to just have that
Yeah.
confirmed.
okay,
Thank you.
you bet. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay. Whoever got the short straw that needs to answer the questions. Thank you, Mr. Pastrick. I appreciate this.
You bet. So I thought it'd be easier just to come down here.
Yes, thank you.
So as far as 2300 South, I'll start with the last question. There are no plans to close that street. So that street will remain open.
Okay,
In terms of setbacks, so the ordinance right now in the light industrial zone that's in place requires a 20-foot setback. Whenever you have a major street plan change, the setback is measured from the future right-of-way line. So basically that would take the setback from 20 feet to 20 feet, 6 inches. So that's the change that would be made in terms of setback. If there are any buildings that are closer than that, of course, those would be grandfathered if they're existing buildings.
okay,
And then as far as the extension of Leicester to eventually connect to 5600, so with the major street plan, that basically sets in place the city's essentially plan to have a road there. Now, that can happen one of two ways. Either when the property develops, the developer puts the road in, or the city could choose at some point to develop the road. Where the property to the north is vacant, what would more likely happen is when that develops, the developer would put that road extension in to connect to 5600 West. But it could happen either way.
okay. And is there any timeline of UDOT surplusing or getting rid of this property to have a,
As far as
know?
the timing of UDOT, I'll let Jeff Jackson answer that question.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So last summer, we held a public hearing to hear any concerns that the public had with us having conversations with UDOT. The hearing is a UDOT formality. Anytime a city engages with UDOT, they require that we hold a public hearing. So we held a public hearing now. UDOT, we move a lot faster than UDOT. We held our hearing. And now we're just waiting and we're at the mercy of UDOT. Haven't heard back from them. Not sure when we will. So we'll keep you guys posted on what happens from here on out with that.
And is it my memory that when UDOT surpluses property, the municipality gets first right of refusal and then it just goes on the open market?
Yeah, if the municipality is interested in having discussions, then that's correct.
Okay. And I think that is all of our questions. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. After those questions or answers, was there anyone else that had any question or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And I think my paper over. So we will now close the public hearing and turn it back to the council. Our ordinance is action item ordinance 22-42.
Sorry, can I just clarify one thing? Because I think I may have mixed up. Steve, can you please confirm then with the extended setback requirement? That's just for any future developments, that 25 plus 6 inches, but any existing
20,
current
yeah.
building, you said there's no impact, correct?
That's exactly right. So with setbacks, if a property's on a road that's in the major street plan, the setback is measured from what the planned right-of-way width would be. So it's just bumping that by 6 inches.
Cool. I'm slow sometimes.
No,
Thank you.
that's a great question.
Okay, any other questions for Steve? Okay, thank you.
I move for approval of ordinance 22-42. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic?
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. We will now move to resolution 22-158. And Mr. Pyle?
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution would authorize the purchase of 2 new trucks from Kemgar Ford. This would be for use in the sanitation department. One as a garbage can delivery vehicle and the other as a chassis for a streetlight bucket truck.
Thank you so much. These vehicles may not be available for a year, but we're going to put them on the agenda. So I will now turn it to the council for a motion or discussion.
I'd move for approval of resolution 22-158.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic?
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone. Looks like we actually lost him.
Okay,
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
And Mayor Ling.
yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Okay, that is the extent of our business for tonight. We do not have a need for a closed session, so we have one last motion.
Motion to adjourn.